All right, as many of you know, it's been about, as of this recording, two new comic book days since Diamond has lifted their hiatus. It's been a tough go for a lot of comic book shops. We are slowly ramping up, so that's good news. But we are fortunate enough to have Steve from Third Eye Comics joining us today. He's a comic book shop. He owns a few comic book shops in the DMV area, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. We're very fortunate enough to have him today to discuss the challenges that they have faced and what they are doing to help engage with their customers and get through this hard time. So, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, like all things considered, yeah. But I'm doing good. We got some really good news today, actually, about 2 hours ago, that our county is going to be expediting our opening to tomorrow. We thought we were going to have to wait till Monday, which I was cool with, but our state actually opened 2 weeks ago, so we've been just waiting for our county to kind of follow along with the state. And yeah, we're excited to be able to let people in, and I wouldn't say get back to normal, but it's more in that direction.
Yeah, I feel for you, man. You guys were hit super hard, especially with the Diamond distribution news. So like when that first hit, that news first hit, that Diamond's like, yo, we're on hiatus now until this whole pandemic thing kind of calms down, settles down. What was your immediate reaction to that?
Thank God. that was it. I mean, so it's weird. So like from like the inside of things, Diamond shutting down. Now I did still get books from like Ingram and UCS and places like that during the shutdown. But Diamond shutting down was actually a good thing for a lot of comic book stores, us included. And the reason why is because that was one less bill that we all had to worry a lot less about every week. Because the way that it works is new comics are a big chunk of every store's sales, so that's a big chunk of your expenses, and that's a weekly expense. And if you might be on terms, you might be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, but over the course of 2 months with no revenue or limited revenue coming in, that was a lifesaver, not having to pay that bill. It was good being able to get books through other distributors, because we could pick and choose what we wanted to get. I mean, getting the Batman Last Night on Earth graphic novel, that was great because everybody wanted that, but not everybody was going to want whatever the newest issue of a series that might not be like their favorite thing is, or the $200 statue that might be coming in, or the like omnibus. You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot of like stuff that come with those Diamond shipments that are sometimes sellers or slow sellers, and not like the rapid fire new release sellers that most people see.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm sure a lot of collectors, a lot of people that go regularly, weekly to their local comic book shops don't realize that is that's a high cost right there. And for you guys having limited revenue at this time, that's an interesting kind of take, because that's the other side of things that I think a lot of collectors, a lot of comic book people, a lot of comic book folks don't see.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of comic shops. A lot of shops, they rely on selling those new comics that week, and then paying, their expenses the following week, and so on and so forth. It's a lot like the restaurant industry in a weird way, where like, if you get the stuff and you're sitting on it and you don't have the customers for it, it's not so much that it's going to go bad, but the demand will start to dwindle. The spoilers will start to come out. It'll become old news. And while it sucked not having new comics as a whole, I do think that it saved a lot of shops from closing by not having that weekly Diamond shipment every week.
That's extremely fascinating, because that's actually something I didn't realize or I didn't think about. So that's really good insight about what you guys are dealing with.
Yeah.
With Diamond. That being said, though, there are other ways of getting comics, because DC announced comic book shipments. I think 2-3 weeks before Diamond came off their hiatus, and that was they decided to distribute with Lunar and UCS. Tell us a little bit about that and how you felt about that option.
Yeah, so we were operating all throughout the shutdown. We had curbside for about a week, and then the state of Maryland took that away. That's fine. And then we were doing home delivery, within 40 miles of our stores, and mail order. We have a really great customer base, very loyal, very supportive. and they were hungry for comics, and they were hungry to support us. More importantly, I think for them, that was the big thing for them, was they wanted to see us get through this. DC giving us the option to have like those small shipments that we were getting was great, because we were able to kind of keep that continuity, keep that relationship with the customer. And at the same time, we were able to really target what we wanted to bring in based off what they were giving us. Whereas if it had been normal shipments, it would have been stuff that we had ordered before the COVID shutdowns, and we wouldn't have been able to prepare for it. So it worked out really well. I mean, I switched back to Diamond after everything kind of, once Diamond started shipping again. But we used UCS, and I thought that, it went super smooth, and I was fine with it. I mean, it was a great way to get books to my customers. And even before UCS, we were using Ingram and Random House to get graphic novels that were new releases for our customers.
Yeah, that's good to know that, again, that you did have that option. And in a way, I feel like, from what I read, from what I see, I got no skin in the game here, other than I like comic books. I like getting them from comic book shops, those kinds of things. I feel like Diamond is a bit of a monopoly. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but there is an opportunity for disruption, and I think DC took that step. If you feel comfortable, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think Diamond, to be honest with you, I think they do a great job. I think that it's not so much that I would say they're a monopoly. I would say that they are the company that does it and really has been doing it for so long that, there's nothing that really, there's the exclusive contracts and things like that, but there's nothing that really said you couldn't start up another distributor. There were smaller distributors, in the past, but Diamond, for some of the faults that get kind of thrown their way, they really do know how to distribute comics, and comics are hard. Like they're real hard to distribute. I mean, like we deal with probably 40 different vendors for just all the different stuff we sell at Third Eye, from books to enamel pens to records, whatever. We deal with a bunch, and I can't imagine some of the other vendors that we deal with shipping single issue comics and getting them to me in good shape. And that's saying something, because a lot of people do complain about the shape they get their comics in from Diamond. But I've seen these books come from other places, and, like paperbacks and things like that. And it's definitely not shipped the way that you want somebody shipping a comic that you're trying to get in nice shape and things like that.
Yeah, again, on the flip side of my observations, also you could say, like, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, because
exactly, yeah.
So
it's hard too, because it's a real low margin item. So like I mean, like I feel I like Diamond. Like I think that they're good. I'm not, at the same time, I had no problem ordering books when I couldn't get them through Diamond through another distributor, because that's what my customers wanted. But I think that they're a good company, and I think that they do take care of their customers.
That's good to hear. And again, I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine. I don't mind. No, trust me. That's a pretty normal question, and there is a lot of negativity that definitely is out there about Diamond, and there's some things out there that they could have done better. You know what I mean? But we haven't had those experiences as much on our end. And anytime we have had a bad experience, they've been pretty quick to fix it. But they're always good.
That's good. That's good to hear. But I want to touch on something you kind of hit upon earlier, and that's like, during this time, you've had to kind of stay engaged with your customers to just, hey, we're still alive. Things are still happening here. We still got stuff. We can make things happen for you. What are some of the creative ways you have kept yourself engaged with your customers and kept the conversations going? Whether people buy or not, it's important to have a conversation. Yep. And, as a community, everybody, let's get through this. So what are some of the creative ways you've done that?
Absolutely. I mean, so we've done a lot. We already do a ton of outreach with our customers. We already have a relationship with them, that's very strong. And we've always had that. It's something we've always worked at. But when this went down, I mean, this is freaky. I mean, like, I've worked in a comic book store. I started working in a shop when I was 18. I'm 37 now. I opened Third Eye when I was 26. It's all I have ever done. I have nothing else. I have no marketable, I can't just put runs a really good comic shop on a resume and take that to, wherever, what I mean? Like, this is it. So I've got to do it, and I've got to survive. And we rolled out a ton of new features. We did curbside. Curbside was tough, but it worked somewhat. We did home delivery, which worked pretty darn well. Again, very tough, but it worked pretty darn well. We did mail order, which that was probably the easiest of the options in terms of like our end, like the labor and things like that. But again, it brought in a little bit of revenue. It worked out good. And then we also did things like Zoom personal shopping, where we would schedule appointments with customers and walk them through our store with like an iPad or an iPhone and let, like be like, oh, what are you looking to pick up? And it was like they were literally in the store with us, telling us like, oh, I want to check out, your, Scott Snyder Batman stuff. And then we would take them over to that section of the store and show it to them. And we did a lot of orders like that through Zoom. We did curated boxes of graphic novels based on genre, which we're going to continue doing that even when this is all over because it was just so popular. We did a lot of different things. Facebook Live, we did like clearance, like blowout auctions on Facebook Live to keep everybody excited and, and keep revenue coming in. And we learned a lot of neat new tricks during this. Nothing will compare to somebody being able to come into the store, but the combined effort of all these little things, they were able to keep our people paid, keep the benefits paid for our people that we offer, and keep our rent paid and keep us operating good to go. That combined with just the amazing support of our customers, they were buying gift cards. We had a program called Battle Bonds, which is like gift cards that kind of accrued rewards, like, special passes to events when we have events again, things like that. And our customers came out in, droves to make sure that we were still here. Comic shop customers are like the best people in the world. Like when it comes to like, if you like, I don't think like the comics retail industry realizes like the silver bullet that we all have here is comic shop customers. Comic shop customers are the number one most supportive customer base an independent business could have. Like they are so diehard. And I'm not just saying that to, kiss butt or whatever. I mean, like it's for real. I've known it a long time. And this whole thing has proven it hardcore.
Yeah, it's good to hear something like that. It's good to hear that, the momentum has kept going for you because, you have employees.
Right.
And I'm sure that was really kind of like at the early stage, you're like, oh my God, because how are you going to get through this? But I see pictures on your Instagram of happy employees pushing products that people want, and also keeping those things engaged, like the loyalty or the gift card. Those are just some good ideas, great ideas to keep things going. I'm really happy to hear that those have worked for you.
Yeah, it got us through.
So now the restrictions are easing up a little bit. And you're open now. And obviously there are some, government guidelines that you have to adhere to, which we're all in favor of. We want to stop this. So it's probably a weird situation for you where you're putting these new rules in place in your shop that you've owned for 11 years. Right? And you have customers that are used to a certain way. You may have just people that just walk in that have never been there before. What has been your approach to these guidelines? And part two of this question is, how have your customers responded to it?
So we're in a really unique and weird kind of position with this. So 2 weeks ago, our state allowed non-essential retail to open, which we're like, cool, yay, 50% capacity, great. The next day, our county said that they weren't able to open. And we said, okay, that's a bummer. What's next? Then the day after that, our city, because technically we're on the city line of where we're at, said that you can open at very limited capacity, which means like, a very like one family per person basic, or one family at a time. Our stores are two flagship stores, our Annapolis stores. And those are the ones I'm usually kind of using as a frame of reference because those are kind of like the big show stores. Our Richmond and our Lexington Park stores are a little bit smaller. They're great shops, but the Annapolis stores are kind of like, when we bring in a big guest or something like that, that's where they go, et cetera, et cetera. Those Annapolis stores, each one side by side, each store is 7,500 square feet. The combined total square footage for the two stores is 15,000 square feet. So only being able to let one person in at a time, very frustrating, especially when you see like Home Depot is, rocking and rolling. Office Depot is packed. You know what I mean? But we understand why, and we get it. So we even though the state was open, we complied. We did everything that we needed to do. Now, going forward, as I think I said at the beginning, we got really good news that tomorrow we can open up more in line with state capacity, which is great for us because our stores are huge. They're perfect for social distancing, and we've been doing a ton of stuff to prepare for this. So the first thing that we did a few weeks ago was we had custom third eye masks printed up for our staff to wear while they're on duty, of course, and then also for sale. And a lot of our customers have been buying the heck out of them. They're really cool looking, and they're fun, and it's something that, in Maryland, you're required to wear a mask in the stores. And we want to help encourage that, because number one, it's good. It's slowing things down. And, the best way to encourage something is to make it make it cool. You know what I mean? So we had these printed up. We installed sneeze guards at all of our cash wraps. And they're cool. They have like the third eye slime dripping down the tops, and again, we made it cool. We made it fun. You know what I mean? So it's not just a sneeze guard. It's something kind of part of the store, part of our brand. We bought bulk disposable masks. So that way, if somebody shows up at the store and they don't have a mask, we can give them a mask, that way they're able to still come in and shop, because some people might not know the ruling by the state. They might not, understand what's going on, and we don't want to turn them away. So if we can give them a mask, free on the house, there you go. So we did that. And then before COVID, like the shutdown started, I'm just a naturally anxious person about this kind of stuff. So I had no idea it was going to be what it became. But I started preparing our stores by, having public hand sanitizer stations installed. So that way, when you walk in the door, it's right there. You can squirt it on your hand. Good to go there. We're in the process of installing UVC lighting in our HVAC, which that's what they use in hospitals to kind of kill mold and viruses and bacteria. And I don't know how effective that'll be, but it can't hurt. You know what I mean? And we swapped out all of our bathrooms so that they have touchless paper towel dispensers, touchless soap dispensers, all of those things. And then we also too, before, we opened, up under the city guidelines, we had a company that we contracted to come in and do like a deep clean of every store, that we have. So that way everything's sparkling, clean, good, like we're really, really working hard to make sure that the stores are safe and compliant with the guidelines from the state and CDC and all of that. But at the same time, they still feel like the stores that our customers, have grown to know and love. And I think that we can find that balance and offer people both. Because at the end of the day, people want that sense of being okay when they go into a store and knowing that, it's safe and it's taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fascinating. I feel like, obviously we didn't talk about this before the interview. I feel like you've gone above and beyond like what most stores do, just a general store. And like, that's good to hear, especially from a comic book fan, our standpoint. I think that's really good that you're taking the precautions because you really want to make it a safe place for your employees, for your customers. And it's only going, again, I salute you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But what you didn't answer was how have the customers reacted to this?
Gotcha.
Because I feel like most people I surround myself with pretty chill, laid back, they don't have problems. But then you see these people out there that are just going crazy for no reason, and we're all in this together, and it's just so frustrating to see. I'm really hoping you don't encounter that range, but I'm sure you have seen some things. How have your customers been reacting?
Yeah, we haven't run into any problems. We comic book people are pretty cool, and there hasn't been any issues. Everybody's been really positive. You know what I mean? And just just happy that the stores can start reopening and stuff. So we haven't run into any, you hear about things like people yelling about masks and stuff like that. And it comes down to if that's what it takes for me to be open, and whether I'm in favor of it or not, which I am in favor of it. I think it's great. You know what I mean? But if that's what it takes to have your favorite place open, then why not? You know what I mean? Like it makes it easier to get this thing going and get us back to where we can, you know, let people in our stores. And that's really what I care about, is being able to really get people in and let them kind of browse the shop like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, you got the right attitude. And you're doing everything right. From what I'm hearing from you, you're doing everything right. And again, I salute you. It's outstanding work. And I really am excited to see you guys kind of feel like you're leading the way. I don't hear other stores doing these kinds of things. I'm sure they're out there, but I salute you on that.
Thank you.
Now, final question here. Like, again, just because I feel like I've been enlightened on some of the things that you've been dealing with and haven't even realized it. But is there anything else that you kind of, as a comic book shop owner, kind of deal with that maybe people necessarily don't see? Obviously, you have to stick with state guidelines, those kinds of things. But anything else you want to talk about that has been a challenge for you guys during this time?
I think the biggest thing is just, just keep in mind when you return to your local stores that it's been a hard 2 to 3 months for a lot of us, and we're bruised. You know what I mean? Like, we're in recovery mode. Like, things aren't open and we're all 100% okay. So, make sure that, you're letting your local shop know if you don't have a pull list, I'd like to set up a pull list. And a pull list is a way for you to basically make sure books are held and reserved for you. If anybody out there watching, isn't aware of it. But, and more importantly, if you do have a pull list, make sure you're picking it up as close to weekly as possible, because right now the shops need that cash flow coming in to make sure that they're able to afford, all the crazy expenses that it's going to be to make their stores safe for you to come in and shop at. But yeah, just be patient with your local stores. Distribution is weird right now. And that's not just for comics, that's for games, that's for toys, that's for everything. Stuff might get advertised to be out 1 week and it might end up being like a week or two. And it's something that your store owner might not have control over. It's just the supply chain is weird right now. They're getting everything back to normal as quickly as they can, but just be patient and be kind to your local businesses. And that's not just comic shops, but everybody. Like, every local business in the country has literally faced probably the worst thing that they've ever faced. I know it's the worst thing I've ever faced. And we just want to do the thing that we love, and at the same time we want to do it in a way that keeps you guys safe. And that patience and kindness with us while we're kind of adapting to the world around us and the ever-changing information that's coming at us is the most important thing right now.
Steve, thank you so much for what you do. You're doing absolutely the right thing. You're going above and beyond. And honestly, I'm a big fan. I'm a supporter, and I'm rooting for you. I will be in touch with you.
All right, yeah.
I'm really, really excited for how you're taking great care with your employees and customers. And that's the most important thing. So I wish you the best. Love for us to talk again. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
All right, take care. And for all you out there, as Steve said, it's so important for you guys to support your local comic book shops if you can at this time. Everybody's going through a hard time. Support the things that you're passionate about so we can all get through this together. We'll do it together. We'll do it as a community. It's so important. Once again, thirdeyecomics.com. Check them out. If you're in the DMV area or outside the DMV area, they have a really cool shop. I encourage you guys all to check them out. And thank you so much for checking out this interview. We'll see you next time.